Hi class, it's Mrs. Perrone. We are on page 65 of your shiny math book. This is the last page of guided practice for this lesson. So we almost made it. Let's keep on going. We have 3 problems left to consider. So we want to know, is each expression equivalent to this whole business? Select yes or no for each expression. So we want to know, we're going to crunch this down to a single number and see which ones of these it matches. So let's see. According to order of operations, if you guys remember PEMDAS, hopefully you do, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, we do parentheses first. We do the stuff in parentheses first. So when I see 8 minus 1/3, you might be able to do that in your head. I can do it in my head. I bet you can too. 8 minus 1/3 is 7 2/3. So as we're crunching these numbers, it's going to be more helpful for this to be in the form of an improper fraction. So I'm going to use my little strategy here where I do 3 times 7 plus 2 to rewrite all this stuff in parentheses. So 3 times 7 is 21 plus 2 is 23. So I have 23 thirds. So that number replaces the stuff in parentheses. I'm going to rewrite what I just did, but instead of the stuff in parentheses, I'm going to put 23 thirds. But I think I need to write it bigger, so we're going to write it a little bit bigger. We have 5/8 minus 3/4. Here come the parentheses. I need to put in 23 thirds plus 1. Okay, next on my list of order of operations, let's see, I don't have any exponents. I do see multiplication. I have 2 fractions here being multiplied. So I'm going to do that piece next, which means everything else stays the same. 5/8 minus, multiply straight across the top, 23 times 3. And 4 times 3, or actually, you know what? 3 divided by 3 is 1, so those actually cancel each other out. So this whole fraction here, if you multiply, well, they don't cancel, but they reduce to 1/1. So really what this is 1 times 23, which is 23, and 4 times 1, which is 4. And then plus 1 at the end. So division, I see addition, and so even though there's division that exists inside each fraction, we're going to take this number as like one thing, and we're not going to carry out the division here because that would result in a fraction, or I'm sorry, in a decimal, and we don't want to do that just yet. So we're going to leave it in the form that it's in, leave it in fraction form, and move on to the addition and subtraction. So even though it looks like addition comes first in order of operations, addition and subtraction are on the same level, so you do whichever one you see, addition or subtraction, from left to right, just like you would read a book. So if I start at the beginning, I see addition, or I see subtraction, I'm going to do that one next. So I need to do 5/8 minus 23/4, and they don't have the same denominator, so I need to give them the same denominator by multiplying the second fraction here by 2 on top and bottom. That way it'll have a denominator of 8 that matches that. So let's write that step on here. So the 5/8 doesn't change. Minus 23 times 2 is 46. And 4 times 2 is 8. I still haven't carried out my subtraction just yet. But I'll put the plus 1. Actually, I'm going to write this, so 1, I'm going to write that as 8/8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. I see that coming next on my list of things to do, so I'm just going to go ahead and write 1 as 8 divided by 8. So I need to carry out this subtraction first. If you wanted to, you could do all of this in one step with 8 as the denominator, and then do on top, it's going to be 5 minus 46 plus 8. So 5 minus 46 plus 8. You can use your calculator to support you here. 5 minus 46 plus 8 is negative 33. So it looks like my final answer is negative 33 eighths. So I'm ready to go select my answer from the list. So negative 33 eighths is my answer. So that one is equivalent to that expression. And then I think that I should convert this to a mixed number. I'm going to say no on B because that's not the answer I got. So that one's a no. But I bet you one of these two other ones is the mixed number equivalent of this. So how many times does 8 go into 33? If you're not sure, you can use your calculator or count by 8. So 8, 16, 24, 32. 8 goes into 33 4 times. That would be up to 32 with 1 left over. And don't forget, if this fraction is negative, it's still negative over here. So negative 4 1/8, which means this one's a yes and this one's a no. All right, now would be a good time to pause the video and try to solve the next problem on your own. And play the video when you're ready to check your work. Jamal stands on a dock 1.5 meters above the surface of the water. A trout swims 4.8 meters below Jamal. What is the position of the trout compared to the surface of the water? Okay, so we're going to say the surface of the water is this right here. Make it little waves if you want to. So Jamal is standing on a dock. So he's on a dock that is 1.5 meters above the water. And then a trout's a type of fish, by the way. A trout swims 4.8 meters below Jamal. So not 4.8 meters below the water, but 4.8 meters below Jamal. So you go down 4.8, and this is where the fish is. It doesn't say that the fish is 4.8 meters below the water. The fish is 4.8 meters below Jamal, who is standing up here. So based on the little picture I drew, I need to figure out what's the position of the fish. I can find that by doing 1.5 minus 4.8. So if you drew a little picture and you wrote out your expression, I am okay with you using your calculator to finish off the problem. Before you use your calculator, you should recognize that your answer is going to come out negative because we are going to end up below the surface of the water. But I think it's okay if you use your calculator to support you at this point. 1.5 minus 4.8 is negative 3.3. So negative 3.3. That means that the fish is swimming 3.3 meters below the surface. And the question is asking, what is the position of the trout compared to the surface of the water? Well, the trout, I spelled trout wrong. Nope, the trout is 3.3 meters below the surface. And you might be thinking, well, you said negative 3.3 was the answer, but then you wrote positive 3.3 as the answer. But if you use the word below, you are implying that this is a negative quantity, so we're still okay. All right, last problem. Pause the video, try to solve the problem on your own, and hit play when you're ready to check your work. So we want to find, we want to find a number that makes the statement true. So negative 2.5 plus something equals a positive number. This would be a great time to guess and check. Start with an easy number like 0. So negative 2.5 plus 0. Doesn't come out as a positive number. I need to pick a bigger number. Maybe I'll pick like 1. Negative 2.5 plus 1. Still came out negative. I need to pick a bigger number. Negative 2.5 plus 2. Still in the negatives. Let's get even bigger. Let's just stop wasting time. Pick a big number. Negative 2.5 plus 100. All right. Now we are easily in the positives. All you got to do is write your answer down. There are an infinite number of correct answers because there is an infinite number of numbers that we could add to negative 2.5 and have a result of a positive number. So if I were to give this to you on a quiz, there are like an infinite number of numbers that would be correct. This is just the one that I chose. Okay, so part B, write an equation showing that your answer makes the statement true. So what we want to do on this line is write an equation. So negative 2.5 plus 100, and according to my calculations, that is 97.5. Another way to think about this is instead of negative 2.5 plus 100, I think about it like 100 minus 2.5 is 97.5. So we wrote an equation. If it says to write an equation, it means you need to include an equal sign. That shows that my answer is true. So I added them up. I ended up with a positive number, which is what I wanted. So I know that my answer is right. Oh man, draw a number line and use arrows to show your equation. Okay, so I chose a really big number, but that's okay. I'm going to draw my number line. I'm going to put 0 way over here because I chose a big number. I'm going to have to go really far into the positives. So negative 2.5 would be maybe like right here on the number line. I would need to add 100. So I need to go 100 units to the right. There's my plus 100. And I would land here at 97.5. So if you made your life a little bit easier and you chose a smaller number than 100, you wouldn't have to do an arrow quite this long. You could choose any number bigger than 2.5 and you would have a positive number as the result. So I just chose 100 and this is the number line that shows that. You'll notice I did not draw every single tick mark all the way up to 97.5, but I did label this arrow with a plus 100. So I'm telling my reader that I'm going from negative 2.5 and then 100 units to the right. Thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. If you have any questions, please make sure that you ask, and I will see you in class.